We're here at a 4th of July ceremony, seeing how many stupid things we could get Sleepy Joe to do on stage. If you refuse to say or do anything you're told, you lose. Okay, Joe, turn and walk to your left.
Go get him.
All right, Joe, do that shuffle. You know what I'm talking about? You do like that thing. Do that shuffle like you always do it. Go ahead, do it.
And here's Leo.
Okay, turn your back to the audience and just start talking to nobody. You've done it before. You're a pro. You're a natural. Do it.
Where is he? I don't know, man. I want to say hi to him.
Okay, now say something that makes absolutely no sense while you're walking off the stage.
You're trying to get me off the stage. You're afraid I'm going to try to sing, aren't you?
Don't forget to say thank you to the people. Don't be rude, Joe. Thank the people. Don't be rude.
Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it.
Okay, do that shuffle again. Let's see it. Do that shuffle again. We love the shuffle. Okay, Joe, listen. Pretend to fall down the stairs and pretend to go crowd surfing. Do it. Scare the crap out of everybody and do it. It just goes to show you he'll do anything you ask him to do, especially if you're Russia or you're China or you're Ukraine. He'll do anything you ask him to do. He's a puppet and a loser, believe me.
Wow.
There.
You know, it'd be better if I almost wish that the guy would dress up as Trump and do the hair and do the whole thing. It's a little much with the goatee and the ponytail and the baseball hat. It would really be incredibly spot on if he could just do some kind of Trump lookalike thing.
That's true. That's true.
You know,
but
I mean, if this guy should be hired, he should be hired by SNL. I mean, to actually do Trump. I mean, it was the greatest Trump imitation I've ever seen in my life.
Oh yeah. Wow. I love that he's having fun with that. He's
wow.
Like, yeah,
what's with you're running so late today, Hunley? What's going on?
Oh, okay. I'm in this place called Hampton, New Hampshire, and I'm along the beach and trying to get Rumble to play right now in the background, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And we are in this beach hotel, Leslie. 1950s, 1960s Roadhouse vibe.
Wow.
Hasn't been improved in about 30 years, 40 years.
Wow, that's romantic.
Bottom of the bathroom door is like eaten out and
by Harvard students.
Location? Oh yeah, well, it must be Harvard students. They actually have notation saying no partying.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody said I look like I'm in a FBI interrogation cell. Too funny. But yes, this is quite the location. We did have lobster rolls because we had to eat something before we were dying, and I was pretty much on a parking lot for traffic and a drawbridge coming back here going, okay.
They have a lot of drawbridges up there, if I remember. A lot of bridges, and some of them open, some of them don't. Especially when you get up by Rhode Island and that area, there's a lot of causeways and bridges and lobsters and lobster traps and stuff like that. And then the people who steal the lobster traps and that whole undercurrent.
Oh, for sure. One thing weird though. Okay, you've probably had a lot more lobster rolls than I have, being from New York area. But sorry for the creaky door. This is some fine quarters.
It's a haunted hotel.
Folks, just so you don't think I'm living high on super chat dollars. Let's look at this fine.
Oh, that's pretty good. That's
establishment.
fine, Hunley. Come on.
Okay.
What is that? A Pepsi Cola machine in the corner there?
That's the
What's
refrigerator.
that red thing? What's that red box over there?
The red. That's the refrigerator.
Oh, I see.
Galaxy thing.
But it was like
the bathroom at the door.
Coca-Cola machine or something.
That's the shower. There's just a curtain there.
What is that? A closet or a shower? You know, when you go to Europe,
no, that's a closet. And you can see out here we've got this lovely air conditioner here. That
oh my Lord, Hunley.
And this is my sophisticated desk. Everybody get a
Wow.
scene. This is how professionals do it.
In Hunley's new book, YouTubing on a Budget, he talks about how to travel as a YouTuber, which is a great chapter 6.
Yes.
Very educational.
Yeah, it's the subtitle of chapter 6 is "Have a Bigger Channel."
Right. I remember watching, for some reason, it was in the summer, it was the Nixon impeachment, and I was in Narragansett, which is Rhode Island, which is a beach community not too far from where you are. And we went next door to my friend's house from college. We just went next door to the next beach house, which was owned by the Kennedys. And we were with the different David Kennedy and a bunch of other Kennedys watching the impeachment. The kids, we all had long hair. We were all in college.
One time.
And so we were just partying and doing stuff that college kids do in a house or place like the Kennedys have up there. And a guy comes running down the stairs in his boxer shorts and a T-shirt, yelling at us to shut the F up. And it was Ted Kennedy. I just wanted to pass that on. Just a memory. Just a memory of that region of watching the Nixon impeachment with the Kennedys. You can't make this up. I just remembered that.
By the way, to the chat.
Must have been the summer of 73. It must have been 73, the summer. Yeah.
It might be. But to the chat. No, I'm not on the run. This looks like I'm on the run in a row house trying to escape it. No, this trip has been planned now since early this year. Tomorrow is my birthday.
Woohoo!
Tuesday is my 25th anniversary.
Woohoo!
So I think that our quarters after today are better. Leslie was actually.
This is a stopover. This is like a roadhouse on the way to the castle. You got to stop at a roadhouse with the carriages, water the horses, and then keep going up the road.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. She's sitting going, how am I going to rate this? Because it's totally.
Oh, rating.
Yeah, because it's actually an Airbnb, which is weird.
Is that true? Really?
Because but it's a little hotel. It's a strip hotel that I guess they bought and put into that. But the beach, to its credit, is across the road. It's like there's a highway and you just go across and there's the beach. But nuts. Good. Okay, so I think you were watching an interview earlier. Tucker's back. And
he did a long form thing with Russell Brand this morning live in England. Things from England with Scott Muni, WNEW-FM on Fridays. Nice segue by me. But he's in England, touring England, and hooked up with Russell Brand at his compound and is live in the studio this morning for a couple of hours. It was very enlightening. He said that he didn't know he was being fired. It came out of left field. He'd never been told ever not to run something. They went over the January 6th footage, how he ran that. A lot of good stuff in there, a lot of good stuff. And it was Tucker at his best, unwritten Tucker, unscripted Tucker. Russell Brand, I could take him with a grain of salt. Like I said, last night, I was watching Russell Brand with RFK Jr. and Cheryl Hines, which was much more comical and buffoonish, and he wouldn't shut up, Russell Brand. He is one of these things where he asks like 36 questions before he gets the question out of his mouth with editorial within the question. And we're sitting here watching this going, the patience of RFK Jr. to sit there with his wife, who came in halfway through the interview, was breathtaking on its own. I mean, Trump would have snapped well before this and said something sarcastic, which was appropriate at that point, because he just gets all wound up, Russell Brand, sometimes asking 25 questions in one question kind of thing.
No, I totally agree. And I actually watched on the plane. I had downloaded his clip on YouTube. I would on Rumble. Rumble let me download things and save them locally so I can watch them on a plane. But anyway, I watched his piece of the interview with Jack Dorsey talking about Trump, whether he regretted it. Mm-hmm. Okay. The basic question is, do you regret kicking Trump, off of Twitter? And the basic answer is yes. Now there's another sentence. The whole segment was 12 minutes. Right. and Russell Brand he's speaking in tomes, just like you said, like the entire paragraph, complete with commentary. It's like a full monologue. And
dude, I thought he was on cocaine again. We were both saying this guy's yacked out of his gourd.
Well, the funny thing is that then Jack Dorsey's actually given a pretty thought out answer about his philosophy and how he's been trying to, change over time. And he realizes he's made some errors on the way. And he realized he was doing things that were good for the company, but bad for the country. And, we kind of felt it was pretty thoughtful. And Russell Brand's looking down writing. Like, moved on to the next note.
Right. No, dude, that is so funny you said that. Because after he got done with his 22-minute monologue question of RFK, he looked over to his right and there was a bottled soda of some sort of generic, not generic, but some sort of British brown bottle soda, which would look like a beer in our country, which I don't know what it was. It wasn't any soda I've ever seen, but it had no top on it. It was obviously open. And he reaches over for it after looking at it for about a minute. He looks at the bottle of soda, reaches over, and then with his right hand begins to unscrew an imaginary cap that's not there. And I went, holy crap, this guy's high as fuck. And he just starts taking a drink out of it. I'm going like, this is crazy. And, he's talking about all different kinds of things and couldn't care less what RFK's answer was. The same thing you're describing.
Yeah,
he just started spacing out after he did his 22-minute monologue question.
It blows my mind. It does make me wonder if under his long hair, he has an earphone with the producer telling him, okay, now say this.
Right.
Because he can obviously perform. And I do like his monologues. And
Yeah.
But his interviewing is just crazy.
Terrible. Because, my friend said, because he's an actor. He wants the focus to be on him. So the second the camera's off him to the other guy, he starts doing his nails. He's reading a book. I couldn't imagine eating and drinking during an interview with RFK Jr. He starts having a meal. Not a meal, I'm exaggerating, but I mean, he's drinking a soda. I mean, he's doing stuff. It's like so outrageous.
Yeah, that's crazy. And I mean, and he was pretty fortunate to get the Tucker interview.
Yeah.
We've read things that, like, I guess Joe Rogan has been trying to get allegedly get him on.
He's in England, so I guess it made sense for Tucker to come over there. Tucker was talking about the architecture of England. I mean, it was interesting, to say the least. But they asked him about Trump, and he said, I regret having not embraced Trump earlier. He apologized. And then he said, I don't know anything about politics. I predicted everything wrong. I went around the country, didn't know what I was talking about. And now he's not endorsing anyone. It was really a hands-off thing, as if nothing was important anymore. Like the country's not on fire and we don't need his help. He's kind of like hands-off regarding Trump. He did go on to say how Trump was the only one with a foreign policy that he can embrace of all the candidates that are out there, re the Ukrainian war, and how that is completely altering the entire globe. He went into a long discussion about Ukraine, and he just returned from refugee camps in Romania, where he was touring Romania and seeing the overflow of refugees from Ukraine. And he said, this is altering the face of Europe. Europe will not. Anyway, it's worth watching, despite Russell Brand, who's on a little bit better behavior, but still, and I'm a fan, don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking Russell Brand, but he can be a bloviator, and a British bloviator, which makes it worse. I mean, when he's interviewing Robert Kennedy when he's interviewing Kennedy and Cheryl Hines, he's wearing an open front dashiki with nothing on underneath it, just bare chested. Just bare chested with some sort of a shawl he's wearing. And he's teasing Cheryl Hines that he got dressed up for the interview, whatever, she's just giggling. But not the brightest first lady we would ever have in Cheryl Hines. Kind of an airhead.
I do think, yes, Russell Brand does look like he's auditioning for a cult leader quite often.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
he's got that.
But anyway, getting back to RFK Jr. I thought about this a great deal in the recent week or 2 weeks, and my new take on this thing is we can't afford to have his candidacy go on any longer. I can't politically or intellectually endorse this anymore. simply because he's sucking money out of the political spectrum that is not going to be around when the real war begins, Eric, if you understand what I'm saying. He's sucking in $1 million a day, and it's not coming out of Biden's supporters. And it hit me last night like a ton of bricks when he was with Russell Brand. And I can't support this candidacy anymore, intellectually, politically, or socially, because there's only a certain amount of money to go around. And he's taking tens and twenties and hundreds of dollars out of independent voters and potential Trump voters and people who voted for Trump. And when the nomination is over, he's not going to be left in the musical chairs dance. That's quite clear. Who's going to be left in the musical chairs dance is Trump and Biden. And this amount of money that he's taking out of the potential political financial treasury is not going to hurt Joe Biden. It's only going to hurt Donald Trump. And for that reason, I can no longer support this candidacy.
I respect that, but we did talk about that. And I kind of pushed back a little, thinking there's the other side of, he is filling, in my mind, the Bernie Sanders role.
Right. I agree. I agree.
Where everybody will get their hopes on it. It's like, finally, we get the real voice, the real dude.
I completely agree.
The backlash will all go to Trump, because
I know, but the money,
over.
Put up $1,000 right now. If you're a working class guy and put up $1,000, you're not going to have another grand to put up for Trump. And that's why I can't go on any longer with this a maverick attempt to attract attention to his issues, the issues that I enjoy. And as we learned from Mickey yesterday, we interviewed Mickey, which will air like next.
Mickey Willis, yeah.
Mickey Willis, it'll air next week. I said it was like having a guy running for head of the Third Reich, regular, normal liberal running to be the replacement for Hitler for the Third Reich. And he laughed and he said he had the same idea about RFK running to replace the head of the KKK. And we both
was identical. Yeah.
It was identical. And I said, that's how I feel. And then he went on a rant about how you can't reform the DNC and the Democratic Party. He's absolutely correct. And I made the analogy of the Third Reich, and I'm correct. The point of the matter is, it's not a winnable race. Even if he won, you still got the DNC. And when he bails out, the millions and millions and millions of dollars that he is going to vacuum out of the campaign world are not going to be available to Donald Trump. He's not taking Biden dollars, right, Eric?
This is true. Now, I guess that would be a difference from 2016, because Trump got all the free press in 2016.
Right.
Whereas now they're actively suppressing him, where the dollars may come in and be more important than they were.
Let me ask you this. Let me reverse it. Do you think the Biden administration is upset that RFK Jr. is raising so much money?
No.
Right. Okay. That's why I got to bail out. That's why I got to bail. And I can't do this anymore. This is too important an election to have some sort of an intellectual, debate about the issues of our great time. If it was, maybe 4 years from now with a wide open field, bring it on. Bring it on. I think he should have waited 4 years, to be perfectly frank with you. That may have been a better thing, with him going head to head with Newsom and Harris and battle it out in the Democratic primaries. But this is sucking money. And I hear Cornel West is sucking votes, primary theoretical votes from Biden. Cornel West is making some dent as a third-party type candidate. I don't know if he's running as a Democrat or as a third-party candidate. Do you know, Eric? Or
I'm not sure what Cornell's. He's probably third party. He might be third party.
I think he's third party, and they're
think
complaining.
He was going to go green, but he's
right.
Now.
There's pressure on Cornel West to get out because he's hurting Joe Biden. Well, I'm putting equal pressure that this guy is hurting Donald Trump. He's not hurting Joe Biden, RFK Jr. He's not hurting Joe Biden. He's hurting Trump. And for that purpose, this is no longer intellectually a plaything for me anymore. I can't allow myself personally to get involved in this emotionally or intellectually any longer because of the money involved that he's taking down as a grassroots. And he went into detail that it's all small grassroots donations. Now, what does that sound like, Eric?
Yeah, I mean,
there's only so much to go around, Eric. There's only so much money to go around.
Sure, and he's definitely the populist candidate. Not Trump is.
Right,
Sure.
exactly. So let's say he wins the DNC nomination on some miracle or something. Now all that money has gone to him. The opponent that a lot of people would like to see is now, he's got to finance it some other way, which means being in bed with whoever you're financing this thing with. It forces the other candidate to go to big tech and other sources or whatever he can come up with, the Sheldon Adelsteins or the bizarre people who are wealthy on the right, those crazy people. Anyways, just what I was thinking about after seeing him with Russell Brand last night.
I gotta bring this up. No, I'm a dude. It's not about the interview or any interview on it.
No.
It is
I just
we've gone back and forth with RFK for a while because every time we turn around, he's saying something odd, like, okay, Ukraine is a heroic effort, and then okay, I don't like Ukraine. And
I mean, he has contradicted himself, and it's and he's also hasn't formulated a lot of opinions like on nuclear power and things of that nature. It is what it is. I just don't see and Viva said this with Barnes last week. I don't see a path to victory. So what are we wasting our freaking time on this for? What is his path to victory other than sucking money? Now, if he ran with his own money, I'd say, hey, knock yourself out. Go crazy. But it's not his own money. It's our money. And I mean our, meaning populist, tens, 20s, hundreds, thousands. That's our money. Not me and you. I mean the populist movement's money. That's what's bugging me. And it's recent. Hi, Leslie.
Mark says hi. Speaking of possibly burning themselves out or taking a dump, Vivek Ramaswamy made a surprising statement.
Yeah, what was he talking about? He was talking about trans or trans in the military, Eric?
Right. That
he wants an all trans.
It was very
army,
surprising.
Okay.
Like he was totally okay that the trans should be in the army and we should be totally for it. I didn't get all of it because I was kind of so shocked.
Yeah.
That he went there. Right.
And then he would try to walk it back the next day, I think, right?
But he didn't really walk it back. He did one of those borderline sorry you're offended.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, okay. Not exactly, because I don't know. I'm still going to get my head around it, but I think he just blew himself out. I mean, that was the dumbest possible thing in the world. He is the anti-woke candidate.
Right.
He's been running on that. He wrote the book on it. And then he's saying, yeah, we should put trans in the military. It's like,
maybe he's full of shit. Is it possible he's full of shit?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of shit to be full of out there, but I'm just thinking it's like,
what is it? His book is called Woke, isn't his book called Woke Incorporated?
Woke Incorporated.
Right. I thought so. Right. So he contradicted his own book.
Right. And he didn't say not to do it in the book. He was talking about ESGs and the businesses. Actually, he was talking about businesses paying lip service to trans issues so they could ignore actual issues that'll change lives. And I'm going, well, wait a minute, dude.
Wait a minute.
What are you doing? You're paying lip service to trans issues in the military. And, oops, maybe it's a bad take. But, dude, why aren't you looking and talking to actual people in the military? Talk about battle readiness. Some of this is not a matter of being polite. And I get frustrated because the military is not a place where you worry about feelings. Feelings are kind of lower on the list. Now, there's many places to care about feelings. Unfortunately, in battle, that's not one of them.
Right.
There is a reason why people are brainwashed when they go in the army. It is literally called basic indoctrination training.
Right.
And the whole point is, if a sergeant says, duck, and you go, what do you mean? Your head's already blown off.
Yeah. Well, I don't understand how they keep posing for these pictures as with dog faces on and different animal heads on. I don't understand. At first, I thought it was a joke when I started to see them about a year ago. Now, they're dressed as dogs and they're on their knee. I mean, what is going on in this military? What the hell happened here?
I don't know, but I'm so glad that I've been out for so many years because it is an embarrassment. I showed that article to Leslie the second I saw it. It's like, are you kidding?
Mhm.
Because it wasn't somebody writing a story about this major in the army. That was the Military Times. That's an official
Which one?
publication.
The most recent one that we were.
Yes, that this individual's life was saved.
Oh
because
yes.
living their true self. And okay,
yes.
I'm sorry to be rude, but I used to be the training NCO.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that I'm in great shape, okay?
Right.
I'm quite chubby. I would not pass a PT test. I'd be falling over, flopping like a fish. But quite literally, as I sat there and thought about it, and I looked again, I'm like, oh, you would have been in my Fat Boy program.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, we called it the Fat Boy program.
Is that true?
Where they would be issued out. Then I was thinking, well, wait a minute. You don't look super healthy. You don't look like you're in great shape.
Mm-hmm.
Is this maybe the same scenario as Leah Thomas, who is a failure as a male swimmer, but can go kick ass as a female?
Well, at least he's in shape as a swimmer. This guy was a fat guy anyway. A fat woman, fat guy. Either way you want to look at it.
Right, but the standards
he wasn't in shape
females,
either way. Yeah, is less.
Standards for females are so much less. It's staggering.
Really?
And if
you could be that.
you
could be like heavy.
The body fat percentage is much more lenient, and the measurements are taken in a different area. So, okay, the way men are measured for their weight is their neck and their stomach. The way women are measured is their neck and their hips. Their hips are wider. Well, this person was born a male, so the hips will be narrower and the gut is bypassed.
But
So
it
you
saved,
get
his,
the-
it
get
saved
the-
his life, Hunley. It saved his life.
Yeah, I'd say it probably saved his retirement
Right.
or her retirement or whatever we want to
Wow.
say.
Wow.
I could not help but go, very interesting.
Interesting.
Especially if, let's say, the dangly bits are still there at the end.
Wait a
and
minute. What are you trying to
This
say?
person comes back and suddenly is just a male or whatever anymore. So I don't
Wow.
know, but
Wow.
there you go.
All right.
But let me see. Oh, you know what? We got a lot of super chats.
Oh, weird.
And hey, it's my birthday tomorrow, so I appreciate it.
Woo.
Jelmer Solinger, see my tweet about Prouty discussion Tramp's picture. The Tramp's picture keeps coming up as of late. And can we put a pin in that real quick?
Yeah, it's over. I mean, you haven't read a book since 1996 because that's when the LaFontaine book came out from the Houston Post or Chronicle. I think they were a husband and wife reporting team, and they identified each of the tramps. Sorry for your loss. They were, get this, tramps, actual tramps. And
what about
today they would be called homeless. Yeah. The tramps were tramps. I know this sounds crazy. They weren't Edward Lansdale. They weren't E. Howard Hunt. They weren't Mel Torme. They were actual tramps, now called homeless, I guess. But back then they were called tramps. Or what else were they called? Vagabonds? Hobos. Yeah. There was a hobo called Boxcar Willie back in the day, and he was the leader of the hobos. But these were three tramps tracked down by the investigative team of Mr. and Mrs. LaFontaine, I believe in the 1996 book that came out. I could be off by a year or two, but just to answer that final tramp question, we can move on from there. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to bust your bubble about the tramps, but there's nothing I can do about it. They were actual tramps.
Hey, don't sue me on local said super tramps.
I was gonna say that, but I didn't go there. I was gonna say super tramps.
Well, there you go. That's why you have a chat. Let me see. Interesting movie, but it's fast paced. New Macau, Israel stole the atomic bomb and killed JFK.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch that. I haven't watched that tonight for the people who hate Israel and hate the Jews. It's interesting how they believe that Israel, a nation that couldn't possibly develop its own nuclear weapon, had to somehow, with the Mossad, sneak in to Los Alamos using Jewish scientists to steal the nuclear secrets and then make their own bomb. And on the way out, kill Kennedy to say goodbye. Tip of the hat to you guys. Thanks.
And Peter Cuscido, $49.99 super sticker.
Well, this is a regular guy.
Quiet,
I like this guy.
Quiet,
Quiet,
but generous.
deliberate, generous. A man who speaks in small phrases.
Yes, and with a dollar sign, which we definitely appreciate. Michael Hebner with a $9.99 super sticker.
Hebner is every week consistent, a 300 hitter and a $9.95 fielding percentage.
For sure. Thank you, sir. And I Heart PG, $1.99. Thank you. We have the illustrious Ross Brand again of Livestream Universe.
Upgrade.
Let's help Hunley upgrade his room.
Upgrade.
Yeah. Here's the funny part. The rate for this room is pretty close to a normal rate. It's not not cheap. Dude, it's totally location. It's
one night.
Full on season here.
Yeah. You're right in the middle of the season. You're right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was up in Santa Barbara before July 4th, knowingly going there for that reason. And the next night I left, the rate for the room doubled from it was like 300 and change for 2 nights to like 900, 850 for 2 nights after July 4th.
Oh, I believe it. You know what I love is I used to go to conferences at a place called Gaylord. There's different ones in different areas. It's like a giant, it's like a hotel convention center that has a huge atrium over the top, and it's like its own environment. They have all kinds of ants and everything in there. So, it's like biosphere for rich people or something. I don't know. I went there and we got there early, and we wanted to stay a couple extra days because we wanted to go to Disney or what have you. And this is back before Disney was so obnoxiously woke. They were only semi-woke.
Is this Florida Disney you're talking about?
Yeah, Orlando. Yeah,
Orlando. Okay.
Yeah. So we went there, and right before the conference, it was like $130 a night, $140 a night. Now for a 4 or 5 star resort, that's pretty good, price.
Yeah.
And then the conference started, and we got the corporate discount of $270. And then coming that Monday, it was actually Mother's Day, $120. And I was like, I'm so glad I get the discount. And it's a scam because government discount, a lot of times if you go to a hotel and you say, yeah, I'd like to book a room, whatever you have, and they'll be like, okay, 180 or what it might be. But then you go and say, okay, I'm government, and it's immediately 270.
Oh,
because there's per diem rates and things like that that they know they can pull out of the government. So it's one of the greatest scams in the world.
Wow, that's not helpful.
Oh wow, somebody's saying San Diego Motel 6 is 160 a night. That's a little much.
Well, it's San Diego. I mean, again, it might be near the beach. Who knows where that motel? There's a Motel 6 in Santa Barbara that is the freakiest Motel 6 in the country. I mean, you would never know it was a Motel 6. I mean, it's super retro designed. It's it's incredible rooms, incredibly space age, weird layout. There's different Motel 6s, by the way.
Well, I stay in many Motel 6. When I first met David, he stayed in my room as a Motel 6. I don't care. As long as it's clean, I would say this falls below my normal standard. But a Motel 6.
There's a Motel 6. Yeah, there's a Motel 6 off of 95 in, I want to say like Palm Beach, West Palm Beach, Florida. And I had to stay there for a funeral because the house was too full or something. I had to go there. And I went on a Friday night, and I'm tired. I went to a funeral, whatever. I ran into a friend who was going to a funeral. It was a different funeral. Anyway, so I go to my room, and alongside the wall is a crash unit for the sheriff's department with a battering ram. And they go, shh. And they smash into the room next door. And as I'm checking in, they're dragging out a suspect. And they're telling me they're lined up against the wall like this. And they've got a battering ram. And I'm going, oh, Jesus, I just want to get to sleep. The worst Motel 6 in the entire chain. 90 off of 95 in Palm Beach.
Dude, that'd be hilarious if they were like, we're out of rooms. You're like, got one now.
Right. Yeah. Well, the door didn't lock after that because they blew the door in. So the room was quiet after that.
Oh, my goodness. Somebody's, what was it? Who is this? John. Somebody's complaining. John Smith, I'm very sorry. We're a little too freeform today.
Really?
I guess he forgot the name of the show.
Yeah, that's weird.
Oh my goodness. Let's see. Elizabeth Barson, $4.99. Thank you very much. Ted Radke, $10. You guys are
I
great.
remember this guy. Yeah, he's a good guy. He's a good guy, Radke.
Oh, I think so.
Mm-hmm.
BTK with a $1.
He's been around. BTK is we see him
Oh,
all the
quite a
time. Yeah.
Unfortunate name in some ways, but
at least he sticks with it. Who? Oh, Pinta, the Nina the Pinta Santa Maria. This is Pinta.
No. This is Gumbasto. Remember, Gumbasto is Ron Pinta.
Yes, now I remember. Thanks, Ron. Yes, I remember the surname.
And Gumbasto threw down last time. It's like,
he's a big thrower. He's a big thrower. Anyway, I was watching this film. I just want to tell you about it. There was a recent film called Influencer by a Canadian director.
Oh.
Yeah, and I'm going like, this is a fascinating film. 24 minutes into the film, 26 minutes into the film, the credits come up, the title of the film. And I'm going, how a film starts and you see there's nothing going on and you're kind of waiting for the titles. Well, this film, the title of the film doesn't come up till 26 minutes into the film, and it's set in Thailand, and it's about influencers, young girls who are using social media, and they're sent to these luxury resorts by the sponsors. I've seen two films like this. Another one called Triangle of Sadness that I saw recently by the Swedish director. This is a fairly big film, Triangle of Sadness, but also an influencer aboard a influencer couple, doing Instagram aboard a luxury yacht with other people who are asking, how did you get here? And they said, we're influencers, and sponsors send people out, Eric. You know what I mean? Different, especially on Instagram stuff. So these girls are showing up one by one in Thailand. Unbelievable luxury hotels, really breathtaking places. And they're influencers. So they're taking photos of themselves. They're doing, with a stick, Eric, they're, promoting products. They're walking around. And that's the film. It's called Influencer. So they run into a girl who lives there. And the girl is an actress from Canada. The director's Canadian, very prolific director, has made a number of films. Real far left director, used to work for NGOs making documentaries, leftist documentaries, but he's Canadian, blah, blah, blah. So there's a girl in the movie, shows up at a bar to help the girl who's being hit on by an older British man mildly. She comes over and says, why don't you come with me? I'll show you around Thailand. Okay. So she takes her on a motorbike, shows her around Thailand. I won't go into the entire plot of the movie, but it's a thriller, a psychological, violent thriller with girls. Okay, so the girl who does this, it ends up with a murder and blah, blah, blah. And it's not a bad picture. Okay, so the girl at the bar shows up and she's got this huge birthmark on her face, like covering her entire face. This is a picture of her. This is the star of the movie. And I thought to myself, well, that's a little weird. And I thought it was a part of the plot of the movie. It's not part of the plot. This is a actress named Cassandra No, Naud, from up in Canada. She wears this as a badge of honor. She identifies as queer. And I don't mean lesbian. That thing on her face, which is some sort of hairy wolfman thing, because we used to have a guy on the Dodgers called the Wolf Boy, and his face was covered in fur and looked like that. He had some fur face. He had the Wolf Boy thing. I forget the actual name. Somebody on Twitter told me the name.
It's like a mole that's growing out. It's a birthmark.
Yeah, but it's hairy and blah, blah, blah. Right. So she lists in her bio that she's queer, but she's not a lesbian, I found out. Because we all thought that she meant that she was a lesbian with this thing, but she's not.
No. Queer's different. Queer.
Right. It's anything. It's
Queer's
anything.
Queer.
Right. Okay. Well, that's her queer badge of honor, is that thing on her face. So the entire movie, I'm waiting to have it weave into the plot line of the movie. And the person I'm watching it with saying, I said, is anybody going to say anything about this thing on her face? So it's driving me insane that nobody, and I mean nobody, they're going bar hopping, they're picking up guys, they're killing people. Not one freaking person will mention this, that the whole side of her face is covered with this hairy, bloody, bumpy birth defect or birthmark, whatever it is, right? Until very late in the movie where she's missing or this guy's looking for her because he may have killed her girlfriend, whatever's going on. He says, have you seen my girlfriend? She was with this girl. And the British guy goes, oh, you mean the one with the birthmark? And I went, there it is. Because the script had to deal with it. The script as a script could not operate in a separate world. So in her bio about her being queer, it says casting, the political correctness and wokeness of casting has now changed. And these things, like the thing on her face, is now acceptable to go up for a part in a movie. And she's beautiful and has an incredible body. She's naked later in the movie, has sex and everything in the movie. And that thing on her face justifies her being queer and actually getting parts in the movie. And she's in Cinderella movie. She's got like 3 or 4 major credits. And I just couldn't believe it. Now. Right. So I'm thinking, like, what's next? Like, you show up with no arms and you're just in a movie and nobody mentions you have no arms. I mean, Lenny Bruce did a sketch in 1958 where Lenny Bruce said there was a jazz singer, a woman, right? And she wore a gown and she was jazz singing in a nightclub with a trio, right? So she wasn't great. She wasn't bad. But at some point, she lifted up her arms while she was singing, and underneath both arms were complete hairy bushes of hair. And she briefly shows this and puts the arms down. And it becomes a thing where people are showing up just to see her hairy armpits. And she very rarely shows it. And this becomes her fame, is that she's got hairy armpits as a beautiful woman in a gown, jazz singing in a nightclub. And that's what this reminded me of. And it turns out that the lead actor in the film is her boyfriend, of all things. A couple of us started digging down as to what the deal was with this girl. Anyway, I just completely freaked out, because if casting is out the window, and I've said this for years, I said this 20 years ago, how does Hollywood reject a fat chick for a part as Cinderella? Isn't that legal discrimination? And people just like got nervous when I used to say that in Hollywood. And this day has now come. This day has now come where
they won't now, dude. Now, I mean, look at the Sports Illustrated models.
Mm-hmm.
They're right, unhealthily.
But I'm talking about casting, actual casting of movies. And now it's this friend of ours is doing a reality series on Snoop Dogg. And it didn't matter it was about Snoop Dogg. It didn't really matter. It could have been about anything for the Discovery Channel or Bravo. I forget which one it was. And she got a memo from the network with actual numbers of each type of minority that had to be in the crew. It, like 2 African Americans, 1 woman, 1 disabled, 1 Latina, 1 Latino. Actual numbers, Eric. This is where we are now from the company that is producing it. And we all talked about the Oscars, how that 1/3 thing is now in effect for 1/3 of minorities or disabled people now have to be in the cast and crew. This is getting really, really weird now.
Indies are going to become the answer, I guess.
But I mean, indies are always the one that wins Academy Awards. It's usually indies, not studio pictures like Top Gun or Indiana Jones. Those don't win any Oscars. The Oscars usually go to mermaid movies or, indies specifically. But I mean, if you're now seeing black guys in period pieces from 1800, like British period pieces now have black dudes in the middle of them. I mean, these casting things are insane. They're totally insane. And we're now through the looking glass on this into a Soviet style of filmmaking.
I don't know. I have so much trouble with it because it's almost like it's sabotage, but they're doing it. And I just don't.
Yeah, they're sabotaging the films.
And I just don't understand it. My mind is completely blown. And wow, holy cow. I saw a bunch of things in the chat just now while we were talking.
Go
Looks
ahead.
like Ron Pinta or Gumbasto threw down and bought 50 memberships for people to the site.
Dude, that's incredible. He's going into the America's
Yes.
Untold Stories Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio. I mean,
For
dude,
sure.
this guy's unbelievable.
Well, and thank you, sir. I mean,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
And chat, thank you for letting me know, because unfortunately StreamYard does not show when somebody does that. So I have to go find another window and then look at it like a normal user. So sometimes I miss certain things just because it's not flagged. So
yeah, by the way, we did an interview with Vince Palomari yesterday that's going to air on Tuesday on the Secret Service. And I think you may want to tune into this. This was
yeah.
This was a great interview discussion with us and Vince, who is the OG of the JFK Secret Service and the history of the Secret Service. But specifically, he's the Zen master and has written a new book about the Kennedy assassination that we were discussing, which is going to air on Tuesday, Eric, right?
Yes, that's going to be Tuesday. And Mickey Willis on Friday.
Yeah, wait till you see the Mickey Willis. Mickey Willis is the filmmaker, writer, producer, editor, star. Am I missing something? Writer, producer, editor, star of Plandemic.
Essentially, he's in his own film, but the whole Plandemic series.
Right, but in this, I'm just saying, in this one, he wears every single hat. He's in it. Yeah, he's in it. He produced it. He wrote it. He edited it. He directed it. And he's got some incredible story. Eric and I interviewed him last night, and highly recommend this next Friday. This guy came from being a Bernie bro, right, Eric?
Well, and that's what I'm going to tell everybody too on that, because that interview is going to be demonetized so fast on YouTube. I'm kind of honestly nervous about putting it up, because anyway, I
didn't think about it because we were recording it, but you're probably right.
Oh, no. I'm just sitting here going, all of his stuff is on Rumble, and he was speaking like it was just Rumble. So everybody, when you're watching it, know that, ooh boy, it's going to be risky. But
anyway, the guy was a Bernie bro, and then he talks about his transition to the other side. Right, Eric? He was ostracized by the Young Turks and the Bernie bros, and very interesting transition from the left to the right. Most of it having to do with family, Eric, right?
Oh yeah, totally family. He goes into some, very fortunately, he goes into specific details, and very sadly, never mind the political transition, he comes to find out that this guy Fauci is behind AZT, and his brother died from.
So did a lot of people.
AZT.
It was well covered up, the AZT thing, but he'll get into that next Friday. But yeah, he is planning Plandemic 4, which he said he will come back and tell us about once he releases the information on Plandemic 4, whatever that's going to be about. And he purposefully makes these movies in little snippets so you can cut them out, right, Eric, and use them as shorts.
Doing that now.
Interesting, very interesting.
Well, and it's so smart too, because like those of you who haven't seen Awakening, a big chunk of it is all about Canada right now, and showing essentially the reflection of Mao Zedong and Trudeau just side by side, all these antics, all the violence, everything horrible. And as he put it, a lot of people are saying, boom, they grabbed that segment that's cut out and they send it to their friends in Canada. And you can't change people by just saying, hey, sit down for a couple hours and watch everything here. Just find one thing that might resonate and get it to them. And that's how you change minds. Sometimes you don't even do it. You just give it to them, say, hey, check this out, whatever, well, take your time if you want to. Don't say anything. Just let that seed germinate.
Yeah.
Let it germinate.
I mean, how about when he was going up for the part of the Marlboro Man? He told him to go fuck himself. That's a good dude. He's an actor, I think a commercial actor more than a film actor, but a well-trained actor.
Got the looks.
Yeah, he's a good-looking guy, but I think he was up to replace the dead Marlboro man who died of lung cancer about 20 years ago. And they asked him why he was here, and he said, "I don't even want to do this. My agent sent me." But yeah,
that's right. They said, "Why should we hire you?" He said, "You shouldn't.
You shouldn't. I don't even want to be involved in this thing." Brilliant. But I think he moved. I think he's in Texas. He was, at least I think Austin. He moved out of California. Yeah, but he lived in Ojai for many years.
Yeah, no, a really cool interview. So we wanted to make sure we do that because I can't do shows next week, but we wanted to get stuff out there that I think you guys will really enjoy. So I mean,
these are two good. These are two good shows. These are two real good shows. I think everyone's going to like them. The Secret Service thing with Vince. I mean, it was like two kids in a candy store. We were going crazy.
Oh yes.
We were just me and him we were nerding out on. It's funny because in his book he asks himself the questions of the top conspiracy questions, and he outs himself. Not out himself. He just gives his opinion whether he thinks it's real or not real on all of these different controversial conspiracy theories. So 99% we lined up together, I've never spoken to him before. I read the book and I went, I agree. I couldn't believe how many we agreed on, me and Vince. It was kind of fascinating. But I feel that way with D. Eugenio also. So Vince is the D. Eugenio of the Secret Service.
Well, and also a couple of weeks back, Vince released a video on his own channel that really kind of started us, talking to him again, or reaching out. It's like where he's disillusioned with some of the community and a lot of what you've been complaining about. Limited hangouts, and he said, I do this. I don't.
How many times did he say limited hangout? How many times did he say limited hangout? Yeah.
And it was refreshing to hear that because we're kind of like, well, he's around some of these people that are a little, and then now we're hearing it's like, oh, he knows. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. The people know. The people know. You don't get out of that ring. You stay in that ring. The people know who the champ is. But yeah, we had a very similar take on a bunch of different people who we thought were sketchy. And the real people and I'm not one of them, but the real people in the JFK research community know who the frauds are. They either shut up about it or distance themselves from it. But they all know who the various fraudulent players are. Because, I mean, it's been infiltrated. Logically, they would infiltrate it. And it has been infiltrated by various frauds. I mean, there's guys like Max Holland, who you see in Max Good's movie, the former CIA guy, Max Holland, who attempts in the Mrs. Payne movie to distance himself. And finally, dude, he was the administrator of a obscure website called CIA.gov, for Christ's sakes. And he's a JFK researcher, Max Holland, so keep that in mind. And we talked about the Dino interview. Right. Yeah. So we talked about that also. But you'll like that on Tuesday. I don't know. It's an hour and a half. How long is that interview?
Yeah, it's like 90 minutes. The one with Mickey is an hour.
Right.
But both really, really cool interviews. Right. With Vince, it's just Mark and Vince, and
dude, that was fun, man. That was freaking fun, dude. That guy.
My work is.
He goes, "How do you know all?" He goes, "How do you know all this stuff?" I said, "I studied from the master." And others.
Yeah, it was refreshing. You're like, I read your book, man, and he holds up the old one.
Yeah, he's got a couple of books. Survivor's Guilt is a great book, and then the new one that he just came out with. But anyway,
let me see. I'm gonna get through some more of these here. YouTube censorship. Trump is the Beatles of politics. He identifies with the masses. Like the Beatles, there will never be another Trump. The Stones can't be the Beatles.
That's funny. That's an interest. I never thought of that. And I never thought of that. Well, you're either a Stones fan or a Beatles fan, so
I guess I don't.
Yeah.
Marty Smith fan Sue. Mark, you are so right about the money. I, as a Trump supporter, gave RFK $25. Yep. So you're 1,000% right. Trump is sucking.
Yep.
RFK is sucking Trump dollars.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought of it that way.
Neither had I until last night. And that's why I wanted to say this on the show. I had this epiphany about it last night. I can't in good conscience, and I like the guy. I know the guy. I agree with a lot of his stuff. I can't have two Trumps. It's got to be one or the other. You know, I can't have two RFKs. I can't have two populists. You know what I mean? Either one gets a nomination, and that's assured, ladies and gentlemen, with Trump, and completely not assured with the other guy. You know, again, if it was a wide open 2024 race with no Biden, I'd say, yeah, let the two populists go. Let's get it on, which is what, you know, Barnes has been talking about. You know, Barnes is saying what's the best case scenario is two populists, except there's only one populist pool of money. That's the problem that I hadn't thought of. And now it's hit me. I'm going like, holy shit, I can't go on with this thing anymore. You know, I was going to send them money, and I'm thinking like, what am I? I mean, I'm just one guy, but I thought about myself writing him a $1,500 check or going to this. He's having a fundraiser at his house. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't have money to give to both people. I just thought about my own, and then I projected out to other people. And I said, this has got to stop. I mean, for us, I mean, not his candidacy, you know, which I think is just a candidacy of ideas. Because, you know, again, I don't see how they even credentialed the guy at the 2024 convention in Chicago. They're not going to give this guy credentials. They're going to box him out. This is the Third Reich, these people. You know what I mean? They're not going to give him a platform to speak. People are living in a fantasy world. They hate this guy's guts.
I agree. I got a Rumble rant from Hope Johnson coming in super hot with $100 Rumble rant.
Holy cow.
Newer to America's Untold Stories after hearing Robert Barnes recommended a few months ago. Love it. Special shout out of appreciation to Abby Hoffman episode.
Wow.
Wishing Eric a happy birthday. So,
you know, it's funny you said that because I brought it up with Mickey yesterday.
And he wrote it down.
He wrote it down. Right. He wrote it down as I was saying that what Abby said, I think it was at 74. He said, when fascism comes to America, it's not going to be in the gray steel jackboots of the Third Reich. It's going to come in the fuchsia colors of Disney. And I never forgot that line by Abby Hoffman. And I told it to Mickey yesterday, and he said, where's that from? I don't know the exact source, but I mean, I could find it if I had to dig through the Abby stuff.
Sure.
But it's a great episode that we did on Abby Hoffman, if anybody wants to take a look at it. Yeah,
and I always love it every time we see like a shout out for an Abby Hoffman or a box of broken dreams. That it tickles us when, you know, people go into the catalog and they look at the less, you know, more obscure episodes or a very
well. Look at the Freddie Prinze episode; it's almost 50,000 viewers, Eric. I mean, people didn't realize how popular the episode is. I mean, it's an obscure subject from 1975, and yet it's driven a lot of traffic to see what happened to Freddie Prinze Sr. as opposed people I talked to didn't even know there was a Freddie Prinze Sr. They only knew the kid, you know, from his movies. Fascinating. People want to check it out. I highly recommend the recent episode we did on Freddie Prinze Sr.
Yeah, definitely. Please do. Leo Bettenhausen, and I think I may be talking to Leo later. He wrote a book, I think, called Socialicide. Or it's essentially society that is self-deleting through narcissistic tendencies and attitudes. I haven't gotten a chance to see it yet, but really an interesting concept. Great work as always, guys. I believe Trump is our only feasible answer, but do you think voting matters anymore? I kind of don't.
Well, look, you could say that in 1975 they said it, in 1985 people said. I grew up hearing that my whole life. I mean, even if you have a reduction down to a 40% turnout, which we didn't last time, we had the highest turnout in American history. So somebody thinks it matters. You know, in some European countries, they have very low turnouts, and we've had low turnouts at different races in this country, various races. But
it was an amazing race last time. You're
right. I mean, it was insane.
They never left the basement and got more than anybody ever has in the whole history. I mean, there's so much interest, Mark. You're forgetting. I mean, we were just dying so much to get the right guy in that he didn't even have to actually campaign. He didn't have to.
He didn't. I doubt he's going to leave the basement again. You know, I mean,
well, why would you? I mean, geez, that involves walking straight and not falling upstairs.
Well, he revealed something, Mickey, in that interview. about knowing that Bernie was going to quit the campaign and endorse Hillary
yeah.
Clinton. Holy cow. He was
Yep.
a Bernie bro on the inside of the campaign on tour with certain actors for Bernie's campaign. And they told him he learned in Vermont or
It was
something.
somebody who grew up
Someone on the
Vermont
inside.
and
Yes.
knew,
Yeah.
and he said, hey, no, this is what's going to happen.
Right.
We're going to come to the point,
Yeah.
and Hillary's going to suddenly win. Bernie's going to concede and give her all the money he raised.
Right. And that happened. And then he quit the
That
left,
day.
essentially. He quit. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. He said he left that day and got on a late night flight. I mean, red eye flight that night.
Right.
And went home, which is, respect. I mean, it was
respect for
cool
that.
dude.
Yeah.
All right, let me see. You guys are being really super generous tonight. We got a whole ton to get through.
What is
And I
this?
appreciate
USS Princeton, 1843.
In Stockton Rush, he's the guy who just went down in a sub.
Oh, what
And
does this have
so-
to do with USS Princeton, 1843?
I don't know. It's saying his Stockton Rush grandfather. So is his grandfather involved in it? I don't know. I've never heard this. That's
I'm gonna have to get my
that could be
research team.
fascinating.
I'm gonna have to contact my research team,
yeah.
which is me.
Scratch pad. Hey, research team.
Research team making notes.
No, my kids would be, hey Siri, remind me.
I don't even have Siri. I've got a girl who comes in once a week. I don't even have Siri.
You're one above me.
Yeah.
Abraham Zapruder had CIA connections and was a 32nd degree Freemason.
Mhm.
Did he have foreknowledge of the assassination?
I'd like to see the CIA connection.
Okay.
Well, we learned also, what did we discuss this with? Oh, the two CIA operatives were working in the Texas School Book Depository.
And the guy who ran the
Billy
place.
Shelley, William Shelley, yeah, the manager of the building was CIA. That I knew that from D. Eugenio a couple of years ago, but we discussed that in the Vince Palomaro episode.
There's so much in that thing.
There's a lot of stuff. You're going to have a lot of shorts. You could get shorts out of this forever, this episode, right?
I might, but you know what? That's one of those episodes that the really hardcore, I better listen to 3-4 times,
Right?
because so much. It was just
you have to listen to this on
it's a
slow
fire hose.
speed. On slow speed. Slow speed.
It's a fire hose. You
Yeah.
need it multiple. I'm telling you. Stephen Bradhay, $10. Thank you very much.
Mhm.
I'm not your buddy guy. With Canadian $5. It's almost as if a group of committed and or greedy and or individuals are trying to demolish the West from within.
Yeah, no, he's being sarcastic, but that's obviously what's happening. I mean, that's what the Weather Underground tried to do with Bernadine Dorn, you see Bernadine Dorn in the Plandemic movie. She was one of the ministers of information of the Weather Underground.
Are we doing the Weather Underground? We probably should.
Well, I don't know. There's multiple documentaries on the Weather Underground. There's nothing I could say that hasn't been said about the Weather Underground.
Okay. All right.
Delivery.
It's the fine.
Your pizza's here.
There is no
your pizza's here.
Oh yeah. I Leslie, I showed everybody a little tour of the fine.
Why did you do that? Why, Eric? Why?
Retro beach bum.
Retro
beach bum. Oh, that's too funny. Lisa Franceschi, love you too. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you so
wow,
much.
Thank you so much, Lisa. I see her all the time. I think she's also on the Barnes channel. Certain people go back and forth. The show ends, I'll watch it on Sunday night, and the same people giving us super chats are over on the Barnes channel doing it over there. And then when he goes on the Duran. Oh, by the way, he's on the Duran this week. On Wednesday, he was on Robert Barnes, that is, with the Duran, going over every possible scenario, explaining the Russian quote unquote coup that occurred. I highly recommend people check out Robert Barnes's Duran episode on Wednesday, just for world geopolitical information. He just gives different scenarios as possibilities, which is really fascinating.
Yeah, he was
Barnes
on Michael
knows
Malice
everything.
as well.
Oh, I didn't see that. I don't really watch Michael Malice. I think Michael Malice is just too sarcastic even for me,
Ooh,
but he's got his fans.
Let me get
He's
through
got fans.
I like the dude. He's
Yeah, no, I
he's
don't
interesting.
dislike him. It's just hard to watch a lot of it. It's kind of like
Sure,
Russell
sure.
Brand. I could watch Russell Brand in small bites. Dude, I can't even watch myself. I'm annoying to myself. So I'm sure there's people who can't tolerate watching me, for Christ's sake.
Oh, I know. I read the comments. No. Believe me, I get them too.
Believe me,
Oh,
I
God.
don't even like watching me.
Let me see. Let me go through some locals tips really quickly. Don't sue me. I saw this poll on another local site, and would we vote on the poll? I'm not sure what the poll is, and I can't pull it up right now. Let me see. Whoa, it's Dustin. Running late and only had time to make the locals chat. Good to have you.
Mm-hmm.
Interested party. Happy birthday. If Viva were on, he'd ask how old you are.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like he's
He
obsessed
probably
with
would.
it. You know what? He's like a Rain Man. He's like a Jewish Rain Man. You know what I mean? Hey, what time is it? How old are you, man? How old are
Dustin
you?
Hoffman, a Jewish Rain Man?
Yeah, of course. I'm just saying that's probably Viva's favorite film, although he listed Braveheart, I think, as his favorite film of all time. I'm not sure.
He had a weird list.
He had a weird list this week.
I mean, it's like Adam Sandler and Good Works.
He had,
I was like, how is Adam Sandler on that list like twice, too?
Right, yeah.
Like, are you kidding? I mean, I like Adam Sandler, but greatest movies?
Greatest movies. It was like ranked 4th and 5th. Madison and some other
I don't even
Adam
remember.
Sandler film.
Let me see. Pasha. Oops, I forgot to tip earlier. BD picture. Here it is again. And it's a hippo with a birdie and 2 U's. And these are on the locals chat.
They added a 4% surcharge on restaurants here in LA to go towards, I think, DEI stuff or health insurance.
Happy birthday to you.
Oh God! It's happy birthday to you. Never mind.
Okay.
Leslie just explained it. It's a very horrible pun. Hippo, birdie to you. Happy birthday.
Oh, I get it.
Okay. It's sad that I see the picture and I don't get it, and my wife just hears it and she explains it to me very slowly and 4 times for me to understand it. Obviously not. Wow, you're frozen, Mark. I hope that's.
I'm frozen. You're the one who's frozen. I'm fine. You're the one freezing up. Don't.
Good.
It's
All
not
right,
me.
I got to get through these chats before we blow up.
No, it's your end. You're in a bubble, and I'm in my same place.
Video
Of what?
Okay. Don't sue me. Have you seen the viral video of the woman freaking out about sitting next to a non-human passenger on an airplane? Turns out it was Mark Zuckerberg.
Oh, yeah. That's funny. I don't know what she was yelling about, but it was obviously, I've seen that. It was some paranoid, crazy story where she's yelling in the aisle that they're not human and she's getting off the plane. And I went, that's where we are now, folks. That's where we are.
Yeah, it's just crazy. Rusty Ward, recently stumbled on you guys. Thanks to you both for reigniting my curiosity gene.
Gene. Okay. Gene splicing.
Yeah, it is. A boiler operator. I'm from Virginia Beach and in Bar Harbor right now. Just went with my cousin yesterday and got about 60 lobsters.
60?
A lobster boil last night. Great time.
Wow. How many people are with you? Like 60 people? Wow.
I don't know. That is a lot of lobsters. Bill Gomez. Been catching up on your videos for weeks. Appreciate the work. Very entertaining. Thanks.
Hey, Eric, let me know if they still have Narragansett beer up there. If you see it, let me know.
Okay. Mark wants to know if they have Narragansett beer. So we need to look.
What is there, a bartender over there? Who are you talking to?
In Phoebus.
Oh, we can get it at Phoebus, I guess. Interesting.
Where?
Where we live.
Oh, Narragansett
Phoebus is like
beer,
an
really?
offshoot of Hampton. Yeah, I guess.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Let me see. Sir Lawrence, getting a "that's funny" from Mark after a super chat is like when a comic would get invited over to Johnny Carson's couch.
Okay. So in Hollywood, when you're with comics in a comedy writing room or even just hanging out with comics, nobody laughs because they're too jaded. So you simply and it's not intentional. Everybody, if it's funny, people just like really just go, "Hey, that's funny." I mean, I can't even explain it. It's just a thing in Hollywood. It's a compliment.
No,
it's a compliment, right?
It will be because they're top of the crowd, like. Sorry, you froze on me. Okay, I got you back.
I'm not doing anything. You're freezing up.
I can't help it. I'm on this. Okay.
No, I'm not even complaining, but
right,
I'm not complaining. I'm just saying the line "that's funny" is not mine. I didn't come up with that. It's usually it's every comic does that. Everybody says that's funny too. If it really is funny, you just simply go, "That's funny," instead of laughing. Because it's hard for me to explain. It's not intentional. It's just a compliment.
It's a professional respect type thing.
Right.
Jay Clover with $10. Thank you very much. Monica West, $1.99. Appreciate it. Dave McLaughlin, happy birthday. Try Sabo Subs down C Street off the Strip to enjoy
where is
on
this?
the beach.
In what city? Where you are? You talking about?
I'm guessing where I am
Hampton,
because there is a
Hampton.
C Street.
Okay.
New Hampshire. Yeah, there is a C Street. I know because we were down like past R or whatever and trying to get back here.
I was in North Conway, New Hampshire one time after a hurricane, and I was visiting my friend Tex S. Goldberg, who's the late Tex S. Goldberg, the brilliant guitar player who, for some reason, retired and got a pizza place in North Conway, New Hampshire with his wife and had a kid, and he later had a heart attack. But I was leaving after the hurricane and driving, and I got stopped by the state police of New Hampshire, and they said, "Where are you going?" And I said, "I am going camping." And they said, I had New York plates, and he said, "Do you mind if I?" Oh no, he says, "Can I see some driver's license ID?" So open up my glove compartment, and in the same envelope was my vacation money. So there might have been like $1,000 in cash in the envelope. And the guy says, "Where did you get that money?" Just like that, with a big hat, I goes, caught me off guard. And he says, "Where'd you get that money?" I said, "What?" He says, "Where'd you get that money?" I said, "I worked for it." Just like that, right? And he says, "You mind if I search your car?" I said, "Knock yourself out. I don't care." So I opened the hood of the trunk, and it's filled to the brim with camping equipment. And he says, "What's this?" I go, "Camping equipment." And he says, "Can I search it?" I said, "Yeah, go ahead. What do I care?" And he starts futzing around in there for 2 seconds, realizing it's a fool's errand. He gives up, and he says, "It's growing season here." I go, "Growing season?" He goes, "Yeah, for marijuana." He says, "We have a very rocky coast." I go, I'm just trying to connect these theories. And I go, "Yeah, rocky coast." And he says, "A lot of people, smuggle in marijuana." And I go, "Smuggle it in or out?" And he was kind of like baiting me to see what I would respond to these drug kind of storylines. And he was stepping on his own storyline is what I'm saying. And I said to him, "Are you saying that they're smuggling drugs in or smuggling it out?" And he got all confused, and he said, "All right, get out of here. I'm done with you." And I went on my way to go camping at Acadia National Park. But the guy was so confused. In other words, he didn't have enough knowledge to talk intelligently about what he was accusing me of. Make a long story short. And then I went to one of the great national parks, Acadia National Park, which is beautiful down there.
Nice. And you said, "That's funny."
And I said, "That's funny." And he thought I had drugs on me. Luckily, you never found me.
Dan Heck. Kelp upgrade. Thank you. It's going to take a lot more than that. Dr. D. Smits, ever consider a show on Rodney Dangerfield?
We could do Rodney. I mean, I knew Rodney pretty well. I mean, Rodney had a booth for us at Dangerfield's on the Upper East Side, a Lampoon booth where we would go and sit. Even before I was an employee of Lampoon, we would go with the other editors before me and sit in this booth, and Rodney reserved it for us. So, yeah, there's some Rodney stories I could tell you.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Bob Tranquilli. Stockton Rush did for undersea tourism what Dylan Mulvaney
No. Oh, check, please. Oh, ouch. I guess he was the
Did
guy
you
who
see
designed the
meme,
stub
though,
or
before it
something.
even came up of it? Yeah, the Stockton Rush is the guy who
Did you see that
was the
little
CEO,
toy?
designer,
Did you see the
and perished.
Did you see the toy version of it? The Mattel toy.
Yes.
I
I was going to also say they had a version of Bud Light can shaped into it before it even came up.
Oh, too soon.
Yeah.
Too soon.
Oh, that was before it even was found. Anyway,
Too soon.
Sarah J. Powers. Eric, you are not chubby. You're just pleasantly husky.
Husky was the size I couldn't remember last week when my mother would take me to the husky department. It was so embarrassing. Like you're in a department for just fat boys, called Husky. And it was so humiliating. People in the chat reminded me after the show what I was trying to remember was the size. And there was a size and a department, like within the department store for Husky.
Oh, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
The Real Terry. Now that I've been a member for a few weeks, I'll do my part and volunteer to be on the decorating committee.
Dope.
Happy birthday, Eric. Thank you. Oh, Bromium is back with the super sticker, 3 pounds. Let's see. Stephen Hayes. Eric, evading law enforcement is no easy task. Just one drop of hair conditioner would alter his profile and he would get away clean and sweet smelling for his birthday.
Wow. Okay, there's a plot.
Well, thank you. Real A.L. McCoy. Where the hell did all these moths come from? Thomas Edison.
That's funny.
Like that.
That's funny.
Castle Moyle Books. Interesting. Did the pandemic guy explain why he was copyright claiming all the various channels like Nearman and
Yeah,
others?
he
We talked about it before the show.
He didn't do it. He didn't do it.
And I can tell you Brian Rose did it to us.
Yeah. It's something that was in the footage that they had licensed that was triggering the copyright, was my theory on Brian Rose's group might have licensed footage, right, Eric, to him.
It might be.
That's what I thought.
I don't know. I'm not going to go any further.
Okay. I don't know.
It wasn't him. He didn't know about it.
He didn't know about it.
Oh, it's possible. I don't know why he did it, but his group did it. Richard Adams. They said they found the stuff inside next to where the VP parks. Is this to get Kamala out?
Where the the powder you're talking about?
The magic powder.
The powder, the Peruvian marching powder,
yeah,
as Kinky Friedman used to call it, or tributes to Elvis, as Patrick Weathers used to call it. Well, it seems to be moving around the White House now. It was in the library. Now it's in the underground bunker. Then it was in the Situation Room with Wolf Blitzer for a while. I mean, where and when and how did this powder move around the White House so easily? And where is the FBI? Where is the FBI in all this?
I don't know. They're looking for the more powder.
Yeah.
Outright mental defective.
In other administrations, it would have been anthrax, but it would have been anthrax in other administrations. In this administration, it's Peruvian marching powder.
True. Very true. Tony Clifton with $5. Thank you. Bromian is back again. 2 pound super sticker. Thank you very much.
Bromian.
And folks, my Wi-Fi is really wonky here, so I'm clicking up things and it's delaying even when I'm clicking it. So sometimes it's not lining up when I'm saying it. It's coming up late, or then Mark goes to talk, then I get cut off. So I apologize for any overtalk or anything else. Like right now, hopefully, Old Men in Chairs gave us $5, and thank you. Nana of 3. To beat them at their game, Trump should run with RFK as VP. RFK said no way.
No, they just said no way. He wants to reform the Democratic Party, which, I mean, it's just like Mickey said, it's like reforming the KKK. And as I said, it's like running for the president of the Third Reich. I mean, no one man is going to alter all those insane brainwashed viewpoints. I mean, it's a preposterous idea. The idea itself is crazy. I mean, it's going to.
Yeah, no.
It's going to take years.
It was funny that you both came to that.
I know that was kind of funny. But if it ever does happen, and obviously political parties change, we've seen that throughout American history, Eric. But it takes years. It takes years.
Yeah, I mean, and yeah, as somebody pointed out in the chat, the Democrats did create the KKK. So
I think that's why Mickey picked the KKK. I mean, I picked the Third Reich for other reasons, but it's kind of Hitlerian.
Well, and then he said, the switch was a lie, and all that was a lie. And,
right.
right.
Oh, yeah. He knows.
BTK, is Eric Martha's Vineyard and got sent away with the illegals by Obama? Will Kamala get sacrificed for the cake or Coke? Hillary or Newsom in? Biden out?
Whoa.
Don't know.
Wow.
Am I breaking up on you, Mark? Or?
No. I just hold on. I just wanted to see something here. No, you're good. Sounds good.
Okay. Lisa, y'all's show is the best out there.
Oh, wow.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you very much. And John Gershkeff, I guess, or maybe he's trying to help me out. Love you guys, John Rice Gergekeff.
Oh, just hold on. I'll be right back. Keep going.
Okay. Thank you very much. Bromian, 10 pounds. Wow, thank you. Coming in hot. Kurmoth, for all her yelling, AOC endorsed Biden. Lemmings, yeah. Well, you can look at Jimmy Dore for some of that too. That the whole squad didn't bother actually doing anything that they could have done to hold the Democrats forward. So obviously it's a complete joke that they're doing that. Let me see. I'm going to go through some locals tips.
What did I miss? Anything?
No, I was just switching over here to do some locals tips while you were off. Huron Trader.
I know you're talking behind my back. You just started. I heard what you were saying about me. So.
Oh, well, you're still here, so you must not have.
Okay. Well, now I had to go get my card for today's Heroes of the Blues. That's where I went. Who today, everybody knows this guy. This is Blind Gary Davis, not to be confused with Blind Jersey Driveway, his cousin. Now, this particular Blind Gary Davis was a native of Lawrence, South Carolina, Eric. Davis learned guitar around 1903. At the age of 7, becoming a street singer, he specialized in gospel songs. When first recorded in 1935, he lived in Durham, North Carolina. For all you people down in Durham, I've got friends down there. And committed and counted the popular Blind Boy Fuller as a protege, who will be a later hero of the blues. Davis' magnificent guitar playing earned him an avid following among northern audiences. After he moved to New York in the 1940s, that's how I learned about Blind Gary Davis, not in the 1940s, but and he made numerous records before his death in 1972. So he was on our radar in New York. I think he played in New York in the 60s or 70s before his death. Today's hero of the blues, the legendary Blind Gary Davis. Thank you.
Wow. There we go. And I have, of course, my own sponsor. So let's check this out.
Holy crap, Hunley. That's insane. Who made that? That's wonderful. Oh, there's
a combination of Sarah Pons, Ziggy Shrugs, and James Esparza had to change up the music and everything. Mm-hmm. Jack Ruby's in, but the cards officially for anyone following on Locals, it's free. Again, unstructured.locals.com. ChurchTown.com will have a link where they can buy the cards as of tomorrow before anyone else.
Wow. Oh, tomorrow's July 8th?
Yep, for my birthday, people can, buy cards.
Happy Hunley Day. Buy the full J. How many are in the set, Eric? How many are in the set?
There are 2 sets. There's 2 sets of 3 available right now. So
2 sets of 3.
It's 3 for $10 per set. First set has Jack Ruby, Ruth Payne, J.D. Tippett. Second set, LBJ, General Edwin Walker, and Wesley Buell Frazier, or Buell Wesley Frazier.
Wow. Right.
So
what a great
good,
gift for the kids. What a
nice
good gift for the kids going back to school, and put them in their pencil case, or if your kid's going off to a leftist university, just a great gift, from the parents to the kids, or from multi-generational passing it on. I remember before my mother died, she said, I think it was not before she died, but years before she died, she said that I should be at the National Archives when they open up the Kennedy files in 2037, because apparently that's the final. I forget what the final drop dead date was. And I said, I'll be there, Ma. Don't worry about it. So we're carrying on that tradition of my family by making these cards.
Yeah, definitely. And just to let everybody know, I'm going to go through the super chats as much as I can.
Come on, Hunley, stop blabbing and start chatting. Let's go.
But no, I appreciate the generosity, but it's Oswald time. I've got 21 to go through. Really,
come on, stop talking, start chatting. Let's go, Hunley.
All right, so
hold on.
I appreciate it.
Come on, Hunley, we ain't got all day. Let's go.
By the way, you should have Jack Ruby cards in the mail at any time.
Oh, this is the greatest day of my life. This is great. All
right,
thank you. Thank you for the calls, my man. Thank you for the calls.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you, brother. Thank you. I can't see them.
Thank you, Imstrow, for
thank you.
$50 super sticker. Blind can't see that. I'll hold it up so he can't.
I can't see the calls, but I appreciate it.
Well, I do.
Send me the whole set.
$9.99.
Don't try to rip me off, honey. Come on, give me the cards, honey. Give me all the cards. Let's go, motherfucker.
Oh, God. All right, Kim Olson, love your Bruce Payne voice, Mark.
Oh, we could do. You know what? I'm being pressured to make a cameo thing where I do all the voices. I'm getting tortured left and right to do this cameo, join as a cameo thing to do, and the money could go to charity for all I care. And then I could do the Ruth Payne voice and switch over to, you guys are really. I could do the Mike Tyson. The Tyson one is my favorite. I once hugged Mike Tyson when I first met him, and I had been in the same jail as Mike Tyson in Catskill, New York. Not at the same time, but we'd been in the same jail. And when I met him years later, I went to hug him. It was like hugging a tree trunk. It was like putting your arms around a tree trunk and hugging the tree trunk. That's Mike Tyson. You guys are really crazy. I'm gonna do some weed. I'm gonna grab some pot. What's with the super chats, Hunley? You got super chats?
I have plenty of super chats.
Why does it read the super chat?
Mark, did you?
I don't know who Sherwood Schwartz is. I don't know who he is. I don't know who he is.
Well,
really, he must be somebody. But
Mark Geeson, thoughts on?
You can't really pick it. You can't pick people like that. He's in another party. The guy would have to agree on being part of the ticket. And it sounds like, according to Barnes, Kerry Lake, from what Robert is indicating at an early stage of the game, but Kerry Lake seems to be the front runner right now among that topic, right, Eric?
Yes, and Tulsi Gabbard, if RFK by some miracle, that would be.
Well, I think that Tulsi Gabbard I don't know if she left the Democratic Party. Did she leave or something? Or I don't know if she left, but she would be a good vice president.
She might be independent. I don't know.
It would be a good candidate for RFK to choose Tulsi Gabbard, and then the debate between Lake and Gabbard would be interesting.
Oh yeah,
I would pay to see that. I would pay to see that debate. I don't even know what they disagree upon, but I guess there's a lot.
I don't know.
Maybe let's go to the show, honey. Come on, let's do the show. Let's go, motherfucker. Alan Arkin was watching last night. Glenn Ross last night with the legendary Alan Arkin and Glenn Ross, the David Mamet play turned into a film, not directed by David Mamet. I think James Foley directed it, with Alec Baldwin and Al Pacino and Kevin Spacey and Ed Harris, Jack Lemmon, Alan Arkin. That's my movie pick of the week because of the death of Alan Arkin. Highly recommended. Glenn Ross. Masterpiece of Mamet dialogue.
Wow.
Hunley's opening up the candy bar now.
No, I'm not. This is actually part of our room. They provide us with earplugs.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
That's not an encouraging sign.
Wow.
Buddy guy, in regards to
Buddy Guy, I knew Buddy Guy. You know, one time I was in Chicago, I was with Buddy Guy, and he went electric, and he had a cord like 32 feet long, the cord into the amp. Buddy Guy, thank you. I'm sorry, Eric. Go on.
In regards to
Blind Gary Davis apparently refuses to shut up.
Apparently.
In regards to
airplane chick, drugs are bad. Okay.
What is that?
So he's saying,
that girl. Yeah.
Something.
Yeah. She was.
Ginny's getting inky with it. Do you know when you're doing the episode on Colonel Sanders?
I don't. I wish I did. Go ahead.
We might. We will at some point. But I think we talked about it. Photographer Abby Hoffman died down the road from where my wife grew up in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. He lived his last days on a former turkey farm whose facilities had been converted into apartments. Great work, fellas.
Yeah, he died in a converted turkey coop that had been, I don't know how that happened, but he had a small bungalow that was a turkey coop converted into an apartment. Second all and scotch. I think he took 150 barbiturates and drank a bottle of scotch. Professional operation, the suicide.
Thanks, Mark.
I'm sorry, but it could have been turkey side. It was like, what happens when a turkey does it? Turkey dinner side.
I guess. I don't know.
Forget it, honey. We're getting demonetized, motherfucker. Forget it. What is Sabo Subs? That's the name of a subjoint or something?
I guess so. Yeah.
Okay.
Sabo Subs was great in the early 70s. Yeah, I'm old. Enjoy your Happy Hampton Hunleys. Well, sure. I don't know if we'll get there, but we'll see. Leslie's saying, walk on beach. Well, I'm working on it. Mark
I see what you're saying. I get it. Does it ever happen when you're doing a show and your wife's just standing right over you, hovering around, telling you to end the show? Is that
not hovering over? But of course, knowing Mark, it's like, oh yeah, that's just going to wind him up.
Yeah.
Let me see. Lisa Franceschi, thank you for all you've done for me.
Back again. Wow. Thank you, Lisa.
It's very, very kind.
Yeah.
Robert Eichel, the best beer in DFW area is Petaculus.
Velvet Hammer. Wow.
Petaculus. Okay. Velvet Hammer and AR5 made the. Oh, you mean AR-15 maybe? Made the Z313 shot. Alvin James Wallace' son was a member of the MICA 43. I'm lost on a lot of that.
I'm lost on a lot of that. Yeah. Thanks, Robert. Thanks.
But thank you. Bob Bennett, best storytelling show in all of media.
I don't know. I'd have to listen. Other shows like this? What goes on out there, Hunley? You know about what's out there. Are there shows like where they just talk about history or something? Or there was that. Remember that show that was Drunken History where the guys would get drunk and one of the worst shows I've ever seen on TV.
I hated that. I couldn't make it through.
Dude, it was absolutely the worst show I've ever seen on TV.
Yeah, no, we didn't make it through one. We were like,
I've seen a worse show. There's a show just aired on Vice called One Star, where a guy goes around, looks at, I swear to God, this show just aired. It's one of the worst shows I've ever seen in my life. He looks at Yelp and finds businesses with 1 star, and then immersion journalists himself into sampling what their business is, and finds out why they have 1 star. And invariably nothing goes wrong, and it's just people embittered giving a business 1 star. One of the worst shows I've ever seen in my life. just aired on Vice. You wonder why
Well,
Vice.
why don't you just call it "It's Not Your Fault"?
I don't know. I don't know I was watching it and we were just trying to figure out what the hell is this show. It was supposed to trying to be funny, and there was nothing funny about it.
Wow. Marty Smith Fan Sue wrote, "When I was about 11, I was chubby. We went to a department store and nothing fit me, so the sales girl told Mom to take me to a new store, Pretty and Plump.
That's a
I will
store?
never forget how that made me feel. I am 59. I still remember it."
Right. I was
That is
haunted. We went to the Husky department at Macy's in New York, and I was so embarrassed because there were other kids there, boys, who were like the same endomorphic look that I had at that age at 11. And you don't really see yourself until you see others who look like you. Then you really see yourself. You know what I mean? Like you see others with the same shape trying on Husky jackets, crying like I was. And then, it becomes a sad story, triangle of sadness.
But super chats make me happy. Sarah J. Powers at $5. Eric, move those rabbit ears around for a clearer picture. Happy birthday.
Right. Yeah, it could be analog thing. There's beams coming out of your head, by the way, Eric.
Oh, fantastic. That's the slate. Oh, it's in the wall. It's a clapboard wall.
The DC police issued a statement today saying that this is a crime that may never be solved in world history. I swear to God, they came out with a statement saying this is a crime that may never be solved. And I'm thinking to myself, how difficult is this crime? I didn't even think about it. You've got security cameras and logbooks. This should take about 20 minutes. No. Of all the crimes, there was the crime of the guy who downloaded the onto the thumb drive from the DNC, the Clinton emails, and who got bulleted in the back of his head. What's his name? The kid who took the thumb drive. That's a difficult crime to solve because he was not robbed. He was Seth Kinney. Seth Rich. Okay, Seth Rich. That was a crime they said couldn't be solved either. Nevertheless, this seems like a very simple crime to solve, Eric. Are there not cameras in the White House?
Look, everybody, look, I think the world has solved the crime. They aren't even there looking at the cameras.
Right.
Pretty much everybody can figure it out. It's like, so who was visiting when? Okay, let's move on here. And it's like, you've done from crack to powder. Good.
Professor Plum,
Atticus
the library. That's funny. Yeah.
Yes. MH 499. Thank you. Heather whatever 999. Thank you very much.
Kinky Friedman.
Kinky Friedman. Now there's a name I haven't heard in a long time. Also mentioned many times by Don Imus. I'd love to hear Mark's take on Imus.
I was not a fan of Imus. Happy birthday, by the way. Kinky and I were friends and did things together I can't discuss. But yeah, he was a fan of Imus. I was more in the Howard Stern camp at that period of time. Imus being an older, more established jock on radio, and Stern having a lot of young fans. I mean, but then again, I didn't know Imus. I mean, I knew Jackie Martling, I knew Baba Booey, Stern. I mean, that was people I actually knew. So Imus, I was not a fan of. I just felt he was kind of old and in the way. Yeah. It was not funny to me personally, but others, even Ratso loved Imus until he got to ghostwrite a book and get paid a boatload of money to ghostwrite a book by Howard Stern. So he switched over to Stern from Imus Ratso. He knew what side his bread was buttered on.
It works. Jenny's getting inky with it. Someone made a meme with Hunter, the 8-Ball Library, a play on the Clue game. Thought it was funny. Thought you might as well. Yeah, that's pretty funny.
I haven't seen that, but
definitely comes to mind. John Gurgachev. Gurgachev. Sorry.
His middle name
Eric,
is John Rice.
I was trying pronunciation. Gurgachev.
My stage name was John Rice.
But my stage name was John Rice. My middle name. Love your show, gentlemen. Thank you very, very much. Uh, 5 popcorn. Dean Craig episode. Neil in Manhattan.
Probably not. I mean, you could talk to Vince about that. We'll talk to Vince when he comes back.
Okay. Matthew West, for the right price, I'd have sold the blow. Said the blow was mine. I'm not even.
Well, I mean, it's kind of funny because the Rust case,
stand-up person
with Alec
others.
The Rust case and Alec Baldwin is now hinging upon Hannah Gutierrez Reed turning cocaine over to a fellow cast or crew member, rather, or cast member for all we know. I take that back. It's fascinating that Blow is back in the news again so strongly. I mean, I thought people gave it up years ago, but apparently not. Apparently not. You know, it's also laced with fentanyl. I know a friend who died from a fentanyl overdose who was merely a social cocaine user. So everything, including McDonald's French fries, apparently is now laced with fentanyl.
Yeah, like Robert De Niro's adopted grandson died of fentanyl.
Yeah, it's fentanyl all the time now.
From my understanding.
That's how I died. I died of fentanyl, but I didn't. That was early on, bro.
Early fentanyl. All right. Bromium, $2 super sticker or £2. Thank you. Heather, whatever, $4.99. Thank you very much. Jenny's getting inky with it.
Yeah, no, that's what I think. Yeah, the cameo money could go to the book fund. Yeah, yeah, that's why I would do it. That's what I've been thinking about. It could be fun. It would just be a fun thing to do all the different voices that come on Bobby and LBJ and all the different ones. You know, Nixon. And it could be a lot of fun.
All right, BTK. Your followers are generous and smart questions. For example, Lisa Franceschi is a wonderful photographer, and my skills are well documented. If you're talking about the skills that I've read,
he's been around.
But Lisa is a fantastic photographer.
I mean, I think BTK might have been before the time I did the Mass M trading cards for Lampoon. That's why BTK does not have his own card.
Okay, Mark, I'm getting flagged right now that there's a reservation, and I will be slaughtered if I don't get to these last couple.
I have nothing to do with this, Hunley. I'm just do whatever you want. What do you want from me? Just read your super chats and start. U.S. National Archive.
Give me Rich Buddy Archive. Huh?
Only other.
I don't get the context of that.
U.S. National Archives. Only other I've seen on history. Well, he saw some history show about the U.S. National Archives, is what I gather.
Okay, I'm not sure. Rick Riddell, off topic, but the bullet that hit JFK in the back was half loaded, so it wouldn't go all the way through and hit Connolly. No, I don't think that was the case, but
no,
I don't know what the loads were. Yeah,
we don't know what the loads were. I mean, there was a bullet hole that went in a half an inch in his upper back, and that's just a fact. I mean, what the loads were, it's just all, parlor games at this point. I mean, the fact of the matter is Ford moved that hole on the autopsy sketch for the good of the American people and became president because of it.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Got a couple rants. Krabby T. Girth. My doctor just told me I'm grossly overweight and old and terminally ugly.
You want to get a second opinion. You're stupid, too. That's a Dangerfield joke. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You sucked me in on that. That's a Dangerfield joke. I'm sorry.
Wow.
What a setup.
Krabby T. Girth. You guys are like the curly fly paper strips us fans get stuck on you.
Remember when the fly strip was just filled with flies, and like your father had to get rid of it or somebody had to get rid of it? It's just like a million flies. Yes. That was the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. Just a million flies on that fly strip. Whoever invented that probably worked for the Third Reich.
Oh God, yeah. Oh, that bad times for sure. Patrick Washburn, no need to read this on the air. Oh, just did.
Oh,
And happy birthday, Eric. Thank you.
oh, bummer.
Bromian with a 2-pound super sticker.
You should say British
Thank you,
Bromian because of the poundage.
That's true. That's true. And thank you very much again. Bromian's always coming in cool. Got a few tips. That's it on the super chats.
Damn.
Any
There must be
JFK convention?
there must be something else there on there. What are you trying to say? There must be something else. Don't give me that.
Somebody's asking, I don't know of any JFK conventions that are good or not good. We're not sure what's going on this year with Dallas. Until It's Empty said Agneween Kamala. Cute. About the
Could be,
powder
but
being
I
found
mean,
near her.
Oh, that's her powder? I think she just shakes and wakes and bakes. I don't know if she's a powder freak, but could be. Could be.
Yeah, it could be. Don't send me. Do you think Biden sending cluster bombs to Ukraine guarantees he'll win the Nobel Peace Prize? Cute.
I think it's a war crime. He should be put on trial in The Hague. International crimes against humanity. It's a war crime.
I agree.
Telephone
Jeff
call
SK,
for Kissinger, Henry Kissinger, telephone.
let me see. Jeff SK said a tip. Thank you very much. Happy. Thank you both for everything. Thurston H3. So Thurston Howell the third. Anyone else here wish even partying with Mark this weekend?
Excuse
Probably.
me? What's that?
And S. Laird, 456, sent a tip sharing where she was gave that really touching story about when she was 11 and the store. I guess she was both on Locals and shared that as well. So when her mom told her, or the sales clerk told her to go to the other store, I forget the Chubby
I don't know
and
what you're
Pretty
talking
or
about at
whatever
this point.
store.
Oh, it was a girl? I thought it was a boy. Okay. Gotcha. Oh, I watched Fatal Attraction last night.
Yeah.
If you want a feel-good movie, Fatal Attraction, a feel-good movie for the weekend with Glenn Close and some sort of
Bunny boiling?
with Michael Douglas and Glenn Close. But Michael Douglas has a daughter in the movie, and the daughter, I'm just haunted by the daughter who may have been an early transgendered boy, the 5-year-old daughter. I'm just curious about this. Some discussion online after the movie.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fun, warm movie.
Yeah, directed by Adrian Lyne. Very exciting.
Involving with bunnies.
The bunny, and also just,
Bighorn Shaver. The bunny, and also what?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I didn't want to step on your thing there. I know you got to go to dinner, so I was going to tell a story about the bunny. But isn't there a thing? I mean, I asked the women this who were in the audience. There was a phrase that, like, when the rabbit died, meant that you got a positive pregnancy test result. Pregnant. I don't know the origin of that. Maybe the chat does. I was explaining it to the person watching the film with me who hadn't heard that, because the bunny in the film is boiled alive. And I thought it might have been a reference to the pregnancy of Glenn Close in the script. And just, that's all I wanted to say about that. I because the rabbit dies, but the rabbit is murdered and she's pregnant, or she claims to be pregnant and refuses to have an AB about the pregnancy as part of the plot line of the movie.
Which is even darker.
Yeah.
It really is dark. God, I'm sorry. It's like, almost like her telling them that in a weird, twisted way. Let me see. Bighorn Shaver with the tip. Do the cards come with bubble gum? No, sadly,
no, I don't think so. Don't. Sadly, it comes with a lobster roll. A lobster roll.
Which Mr. rolls for dinner, and they were.
It's great spicy. With the delay. Hunley laughing at the jokes spicy. On the way home. Odd. Let's go on and let's try to do this. Come on, man.
Welcome to Wired Wi-Fi.
Come on, brother. Let's try to do this. Don't be whitey. Come on, motherfucker.
Twins 123. Happy B to Eric and a hello to Mark from another Judy.
Judy, welcome.
Pigeon Be Gone. Had Wallace won, how long before Bombs Away LeMay would have had his crew take him out so he could be sworn in? Ugh.
That's a good question. I don't know. I mean,
I don't know.
The deep state made sure that Wallace didn't become president. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, LeMay kind of helped that out too, just by his presentation when he was announced. When
Right.
he confessed his love for everything nuclear ever. Somebody shared that. That was hilarious. Huron Trader. Happy birthday, Eric. Well, thank you. That's it on the locals tips and a couple super chats. Everybody's this now, I think. But Harold, Mark, would you consider doing an episode of Fire Sign Theater? Don't crush that dwarf. Hand me the pliers.
They are on the list. Yeah. They're on the list.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. I knew a couple of
2
them.
more pounds from Bromium. Thank you. Mark, is the Spumani Garden still open on Grave Endive?
What the hell is that? What? Man, that's obscure. That's real. Oh, that's really obscure. What is Spumoni? The ice cream garden still open on Grave Endive? Wow. That must be some coded message. Like, we're going to have to get the Enigma machine after the show and run it through the Enigma machine, which I have, which I purchased from the Polish intelligence service in 1961. So we're going to run it through the Enigma machine, Ronald.
All right. That is weird. Marvin Rush, 199. And this is officially the last super chat.
Last call. No, this is never going to be the last one. They used to inject rabbits with urine from pregnant women, and a chemical used in the test strips now would kill the rabbit. Is that true, or is that a joke? You think that's true?
Yes, I've always heard that the rabbit died, and that was the reference. I don't know that. Sounds gross.
Well, someone should let us know in the chat. If somebody could find out in the chat. It might have something to do with test strips, that were later developed for women to use.
Wait,
Bromium's back. You thought it was the last one. It's not. Dude, Bromium's not going to let us go. Sherwood Schwartz was the creator. Oh, I know who Sherwood Schwartz was. Yeah, and he did a bunch of shows. That was 2 of the big ones. Yeah, Gilligan's Island, Brady Bunch, right.
I think it might have been before your time there.
Yeah, it really was before my time. He was kind of an oddball guy who was kicking around Hollywood in the 50s and 60s.
All right. Well, on that note, I'm through everything there.
Last call. Hunley's getting a lobster roll. Telephone call for Hunley.
Now we've got the reservations, and I will survive my wife. Go to my birthday.
Come on, Hunley. Let's get some lobster roll, motherfucker. Let's get some lobster roll, motherfucker. Come on, brother.
Uh-oh. I said live through my anniversary, and I just heard maybe. Thank you, everyone, so much. We have 2 amazing shows that are coming out next week.
Oh, yeah. Don't miss these 2 shows.
Everybody, I think, is going to really love them.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for the birthday wishes.
Happy birthday, Hunley. Happy birthday, Hunley. Happy birthday from Mike Tyson, Hunley. I love you. I love you, Hunley.